Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is Orphanlast, aka Skylar Madison, and today I'm coming at you with another Noblefrugal Studio collaboration video where basically I'm drawing a background which Noblefrugal Studio will be using in an OpenToonz animation, and it'll be included in on his tutorials. He's got a really interesting teaching style. I do recommend his page. It's pretty good. Feel free to take a look at it inside of the video description below. And just as a little bit of an update on my channel, I just reached 500 subscribers, which, thank you guys. Like, seriously, I put in a lot of work towards my videos and everything like that, and to see that there's a growing audience, my channel is not shrinking, it's growing. It's a big deal to me. It really is, because for those of you that are new, that haven't been following my channel for all of the videos or whatever, late 2008, I got into a horrible ATV accident, and I broke nearly every major bone in my body. And I'm very fortunate because I have 90% mobility, but that doesn't mean that I wake up feeling jazzed about the day. There are times when I have really stiff muscles, and just crouching causes a lot of frustration and agitation and sometimes pain. And I've shown a video showcasing what I do for a living, and I love what I do for a living. However, it doesn't pay very well, and not only that, but it's construction. Like, I need to get out of it. I can't be doing it forever. It's just a ticking clock, and I'm just trying to get by. And I'm hoping that my YouTube channel can someday be something that can support me, and to see that my channel is growing and it's not shrinking, that I'm working towards something. It means a lot, and it may just be 500 subscribers. I'm not quite at 1,000 where I can get things like sponsorships or anything like that. But I don't need any of that anyways right now. I'm too busy with what I got going on right now for something like that. But still, it's progress when you're working towards something, and there's days you wake up and you're just thinking to yourself, God, am I ever going to make it? How am I going to make it in 10 years? How am I even going to be feeling in 10 years? Am I even going to be able to go to work in 10 years? Like, what am I going to be able to do? And you check your analytics on YouTube, and you see you got 500 subscribers, and it gives a little bit of hope. It does. And thank you, seriously. So yeah, inside of this video so far, what you've seen me doing is, especially at the beginning, you saw me kind of warping the shadows a little bit, primarily because since I didn't really use an official sort of technique for the background, not for the background, for the shadows. Since I didn't use an official curvilinear perspective technique, I needed to kind of fake it a little bit, and there's nothing wrong with faking it. 90% of the artists that make a fisheye perspective drawing, they're faking it anyways, and they have so much stuff inside of the foreground that you're not able to actually see any of the perspective work that they've done, because quite frankly they're faking it, and it doesn't look very good. Whereas I know what I'm doing, and if I can fake something and still make it look convincing, I don't see any problem with that. So yeah, but I gotta tell you, this week though, I've actually taken a look at Google Images 360 panoramic images and stuff like that, typing in things like shadows or sunlight, and there are a few images that are just mind-bogglingly awesome. The shadows in panoramic images do these phenomenal things that are just kind of jaw-dropping, kind of amazing. And I'm not quite at the stage where I understand all the geometry that's going on with fisheye perspective when it comes to the shadows, but I gotta say, like, it may seem a little bit unpredictable to some extent, but it does follow a form of logic, and the things that you can do with shadows in panoramic images is just awesome. Just as a solitary image all by itself, you put it inside of an animation as well, where you're able to actually do a camera swivel. It just looks awesome. You plug some of these Google Images into OpenTunes and actually start panning the camera around and do a little animation with it, and it just looks awesome. So right now, what you see me focusing on is I'm trying to get rid of all the black lines. If you look at, like, whenever someone's drawing with a pencil and such like that, they're interpreting reality in the form of just black lines. And when you actually look at reality, there's shadows and such like that, but it's composed of color. It's composed of hues and values and such like that. And so I need to get rid of all these black lines. The black lines are just an artist's interpretation of reality. It's time to actually take this image and take it to the next step and actually make it look like it could exist within nature. And one of the things that I'm focusing on is, not in this video, but what I'm thinking about doing is creating some foliage. And I'm kind of kicking myself over the way that I created some of these shadows on this building, or generally around a lot of the image within this video. The shadows that I created in this video, I created kind of oddly, and so it's kind of created a little bit more work for me. And you can also see that the colors do these weird things whenever you use the fill tool. Wherever there's a line, there's sometimes just this little gap. And so basically I didn't get rid of the black lines. What I did was I copied my line work, and I grabbed that copy and merged it with the I lowered the opacity and then merged it with my painting layer. And so I can still see the black lines even though they're very faint. And the line work itself, the original line work layer, is just turned off. So it still exists, but I don't have any reason to turn it back on. But I want to preserve it, just simply because in a future date, some people might actually want some printings of some of my artwork, and they might want to have the line work of this painting instead of just the colored, or they might want both. So, offering a variety might actually be a good thing. And here, right now I'm really focusing on, okay, how am I painting? Like, how am I going to paint this? Because like I've said quite a bit, painting is something kind of new to me. Coloring is new to me. And so most of this video is me just kind of troubleshooting. Okay, what techniques work? What will bring out this corner, this edge? What do I see in nature a lot of the time? Or what is acceptable in a painting that doesn't exist inside of nature, just simply because, just like what I said with the pencil, your line work is just an artist's interpretation, and yet we just accept it as a representation of something that happens to exist within nature. I mean, in the end, it's just a 2D image representing the idea of a three-dimensional world. And so no matter how hard you try, it's always going to be an artist's interpretation of reality. And so I'm just trying to balance all of that together. But yeah, I'm going to add foliage to this image. Some of the idea of foliage is, in order to bring a landscape to life, you need to have some sort of foliage. Like 90% of the time, whenever you see a photograph of a city or something like that, there's some sort of foliage, like plants, trees, bushes, things like that. So I will be adding some of that, and some of the reason for that is also because, you know, I could really focus on just, you know, painting the crap out of this video, out of this image, every single little detail, or I could actually cover some of it up a little bit with foliage. I could just kind of use it as a little bit of a shortcut, and don't undersell the idea of a shortcut, because like the best artists in the world use shortcuts on a regular basis. It's just they need to be done in good taste. When you use a shortcut just because you're lazy and not because it'll look good in general, then yeah, you're not doing it for the right motivations. You're just being lazy. Like there's nothing wrong with taking shortcuts. I don't see any problem with that, just as long as the final image it has some sort of like gravity to it. People are prone to gravitate towards the image. So this is what the image looked like when it first began. The next little slide, the after image, after this image, like after this video, it, you know, there's not too much of a difference, but a lot of this was a learning process. Me trying to figure out how to troubleshoot things, and eventually, once I'm done kind of doing the sort of workflow that you kind of saw throughout the last third of this video, I'll be adding photo texturing. So that pretty much concludes it for this video. If you guys enjoyed it, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you guys didn't enjoy it, please like, share, and subscribe anyways.